folks, it's me Kevin here again from Yona Productions, and welcome to episode 2 of General Highlights. Tonight's episode I'm covering last night's Monday Night Raw. So just get straight into it. We opened up with Goldberg. He quickly talked about his match with Brock Lesnar at the previous night at Survivor Series, but the most important part about his promo last night was he mentioned he'd been talking to Steph McMahon, and had he one more title run in him. This followed on with Goldberg announcing that he is going to be not at Royal Rumble, but in the Rumble match itself. So that's a huge announcement. Now we had heard that he had agreed to do Royal Rumble before Survivor Series, but now he's confirmed it that he's actually going to be in the Rumble match. So this is a solid way to open Raw. So the first match of the night was New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championships. We all knew going into this match Cesaro and Sheamus weren't going to win, especially when New Day mentioned Demolition's record when they were coming to the ring. But at one point it looked very close. Cesaro locked the sharpshooter on Kofi Kingston. While Big E tried to help, Sheamus took him out with a bro kick. It looked like they were actually going to win tag gold last night. But Xavier Woods got up on the apron, distracting the ref. But Kofi Kingston, he tapped, just ref didn't see it. But while Cesaro was distracted by this, Kofi rolled Cesaro up in a pin. New Day retained their titles. But the main thing about this is, New Day are meant to be face. Why are they using heel tactics? Is this maybe foreshadowing a heel turn for the New Day? Or are they just going to slowly turn heel over time? Just have to tune into Raw next week and find out. So then we had a quick backstage segment between Steph McMahon and Mick Foley, talking about, winning a Survivor Series and all that. When in comes Sami Zayn, and Foley says that, oh look, I'm a fan of yours, I love your work, but you have to, there has to be punishments for not winning the IC Championship. So he puts him in a match with Braun Strowman, which we'll get to later. So there was another backstage segment after the break, which I missed because I was making a cup of tea at the time. I thought I'd have enough time during the ad break to do it, but so Lana and Enzo run into each other backstage. Enzo's naked. Okay, I don't know, he got locked out of his locker room or something. But this all pisses off Rusev, which leads to a match between the two of them later on in the night. So the next match then, we had one-on-one cruiserweight action. We had Alexander versus Daivari. It was a good enough match. There seemed to be allowing a lot more of the high spots, or the high flying spots I should say, on the main roster now. Is this maybe they're letting them run a bit loose before 205 Live, where they can really let loose? But yeah, it was a good match. Solid performance from both competitors, and Alexander picks up the win in the end. So then we had Jericho's highlight reel. This was actually very entertaining. So Jericho's talking about the list and how it was used as a weapon, and he knew exactly who to blame for Raw's loss. Straight away, pretty much before he can finish his sentence, out comes Kevin Owens. Two can get into it a bit. It looks like, oh god, this is the end of the friendship. But as things get heated, they both agree who's to blame. Roman Reigns. So then out comes Seth Rollins to confront Kevin Owens, saying that he wants another shot at the Universal title. This leads to Owens and Jericho teaming up on Rollins, and they start beating him up in the ring. Reigns then comes out to save the day and to equalise both sides. We're then greeted by Mick Foley coming out to ringside and announcing that Rollins will get his championship shot tonight on Raw in an ODQ match. So that's your main event set up for the night. So then we have the first of the backstage segment matches. We have Enzo versus Rusev. Enzo and Cass come out to the ring. They say that Rusev's got a soft manhood, which so they go straight into the match. Rusev absolutely crushes Enzo. This is a very quick match. He locks on the accolade. Enzo taps. Rusev won't let go. Cass enters the ring. Rusev bolts. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Enzo got a couple of licks in, but for the most part, Rusev dominated the entire match. So that's pretty much that one. So the next match then was a #1 contendership match for the Raw Tag Team Championships. On one side we had the Club, on the other side we had the Golden Truth. Now, looking at you know the Gold or the Club were going to win it. So, but saying that, I generally thought the Club were just going to decimate Golden Truth. Actually, no, Golden Truth held their own in this one, and in fairness to them, they were actually the dominant team for a lot of the early goings of the match. But eventually, the Club got the upper hand, got the win, and now they will be facing the New Day next week on Raw in another pointless tag championships match, because we know the New Day aren't going to drop them. But needless to say, Club are facing the New Day next week for the Raw Tag Team Championships. So then we had the second of the Backstage Segment matches. We had Zayn versus Braun Strowman. Well, if you could call it a match. Braun nearly killed Zayn. And if you didn't know about kayfabe, you would generally think that, yeah, he's trying to murder him. Braun was, like, Braun was dominant throughout the entire match. Sammy at one point did try to mount a bit of a comeback, but it didn't last very long. Braun just at one stage just threw him into the corner, and probably one of the most devastating corner clotheslines I've ever seen. You just see Braun go for Zayn, and then you see Zayn disappear behind Braun. He just absolutely crushed him into the corner. He just proceeded to beat up on Zayn after that, to the point where Mick Foley had to come out and just goes to Braun, "Stop! He can't defend himself. This match is over. Stop it." So this was a pure squash match, which makes Strowman look absolutely bull strong, and he's unbeatable. But poor Sammy took an awful beating in that one, and I don't know, maybe it was just me, but when Foley came out to break up, he looked as if he felt guilty about putting him in the match in the first place. So you never know, it might be a bit of a follow up to that. There might not be, you never know. Just have to wait till next week, I suppose. So then we had women's action. We had Charlotte came out to the ring to celebrate Raw's victory, only to be interrupted by Sasha Banks, who said, "Yo, I want my rematch." She was then interrupted by Nia Jax. The two of them then, are Nia and Charlotte, team up on Sasha and start beating her up in the ring. Bayley comes out for the save, only to be denied entrance to the ring by Nia. This leads then to a women's tag match. Nia Jax and Charlotte versus Bayley and Sasha. As usual, Nia Jax was dominant in the match, but Bayley and Sasha worked together and they managed to overpower Nia Jax. There was a bit, Dana Brooke got involved outside the ring while the ref was distracted, taking out Bayley. But the match finished up with Sasha locking on the bank statement on Charlotte, and Charlotte tapped. Which isn't the first time Sasha's made her tap, but so Sasha and Bayley pick up the win. But we find out then that Sasha gets her rematch next week in Charlotte's hometown of Charlotte. So will Charlotte drop the title? Because WWE of late have a very consistent habit, I'll say, of burying wrestlers in their hometown. So you never know. Will Sasha win it back? Will Charlotte retain? Tune in next week. So second last match of the night, we had a triple threat cruiserweight action between Noam Dar, Rich Swann and TJ Perkins for the #1 contendership spot for Brian Kendrick's Cruiserweight Championship. Like the Alexander and Daivari match, the Cruiserweights were allowed to do high-flying spots in this one again. This was actually a very good match. I was rooting for Noam Dar, Joe, because Joe, he's this side of the water. I know we're from two different countries, but America's over there and Europe's over here. So I'm always going to shout for the Europeans. But anyway, I'll move on. So yeah, this was a very entertaining match, especially when TJ Perkins locked in a submission on Rich Swann while pinning Noam Dar at the same time. That was a very nice little spot. But yeah, like I said, they were allowed to do the high flying spots in this match, so I'm actually, I'm getting more and more interested in the 205 Live show now that they're been let loose a little bit. They're not been as constricted as they were when they first came up to the main show. So yeah, so anyway, Rich Swann picks up the win, which gets him a number one contendership match against, or not number one contendership match. That's what this was. He gets a championship match against Brian Kendrick. I can't remember if they announced when it is. Possibly on 205 Live, maybe. I might have missed that bit. Sure, if you know, folks, just let me know in the comments. So yeah, so I suppose we'll just move on to the main event. So the main event, like I said, Rollins versus Owens for the Universal Championship in a no DQ match. And normally a Raw no DQ match usually means that it's just an excuse for someone to run in. There's really no kind of hard hitting or weapons used for the most part. This was the exception. There was everything from chairs, tables, to Rollins jumping off the crowd stands into Owens when they did a bit of a crowd fight, which was actually a very good one. And this went on for a bit. So after Rollins jumps off Owens, they make their way back to the ring. Rollins climbs up on the barrier, about to jump on Owens again, only to be grabbed from behind from what looks like Sin Cara. And we're all going, what the fuck is Sin Cara doing out there? Now I will admit, when I saw the hoodie, the kind of grey hoodie, for a split second I was going, it's not CM Punk, is it? And then my logical part of my brain kicked back in and realised, no, it's not CM Punk, it's probably Jericho. So Rollins pulls off the mask to reveal, yes, it was Jericho. I don't know, maybe Fanboy took over logic there for a split second. But yeah, so Jericho came into the match dressed as Sin Cara. So Rollins grabs Jericho, hits him with a pedigree, but then Owens grabs Rollins and powerbombs him off the apron, puts him back in the ring, gets the pin, and retains his Universal Championship. So overall, this was actually quite a good Raw, and probably one of the better ones in a long time. Well, in the last, I suppose, maybe since the brand split, I'd say, because Raw's been pretty weak since the brand split, but no, this was actually quite a good one. And it did have a kind of a post-pay-per-view feel to it, which a lot of the Raws lately hadn't. It's kind of the pay-per-view happened the night before, yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, this one did have a genuine post-pay-per-view feel to it. So overall, I thought it was a very entertaining Raw. Definitely had a post-pay-per-view feel to it. What did you find, folk things? Let me know in the comments. I've been Kevin from Yellow Productions. This has been General Highlights. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Kevin O'Meester. Link will be in the description. And I will see you tomorrow for the General Highlights episode number 3 of General Highlights, where I will be covering tonight's episode of SmackDown Live. So till then, folks, have a good one.